This conference will now be recorded.
Hey guys, good morning. So anyone has any questions? We'll start at 7 o'clock. So anyone has any questions, please let me know. Yesterday I was going through the properties of EC2 instance. EC2 instance is nothing but a virtual machine in AWS. AWS provides in EC2 instance IaaS. What is the full form of IaaS? Infrastructure as a service. Now very important. So what is this infrastructure as a service? Means AWS is providing infrastructure as a service to you. So you don't need to worry about what happens if there is any hardware failure. What happens if there is any something which is failure in terms of storage or anything, infrastructure level, wherever it is there, right? It is AWS responsibility. Apart from that, then it will come your responsibility. Like you get the server. What do you do after the server? What do you do after the server? Okay, you will go and install the application. Now all those things, your responsibility. Okay, anyone has any questions before I start? Okay, it is infrastructure as a service. I went and explained what is meant by an AMI. AMI is nothing but an image. Image contains operating system plus softwares. Okay, so based on the selection of your image, your OS gets created. And then you have something called as, okay, instance type. What is instance type? Combination of RAM and CPU core. It is not yet over. You will, once I launch EC2 instance, everyone are very neatly understood what is EC2 instance. I'll explain you the properties of, very in detail we'll go and talk about the properties of, okay, instance type. That is there. And I can select my VPC. I can select my subnet. Which subnet? Which VPC? Should I assign public IP address? Yes or no? I can select that one. And also I have some properties related to whenever I'm creating a server, what is there? Whenever I'm creating the server, okay, NIC card is assigned, virtual NIC card is assigned, layer number 2, OSI model layer number 2. So any communication is happening, it will go through NIC card. NIC card in AWS is called as, what is that? ENI, Elastic Network Interface. So keep it in your mind. And also we went through what is meant by user data. What is user data? User data, it's a bootstrapping program. It's a bootstrapping program. Sir, what is the meaning of bootstrapping program? Are you rebooting your system? Rebooting. Booting means loading. During that period of time, the program will run. That is the reason we call it as bootstrapping program. Is it clear, right? So that is called as the user data. How much code you can write it in user data? What is the size? 16 KB size. 16 KB size. Generally, what program is embedded there? What kind of a program is embedded? So for if it is a Linux operating system, people will add it shell scripting. If it is a Windows system, they will paste it PowerShell. Is it clear, right? Most of the people will use this one. Now PowerShell 7.0 is supporting PowerShell program can be written in Linux also. It can run in Linux also, but just keep it in your mind. So those things are very important. Is it clear? Now let's go for, maybe now it is time for us to go into storage, sir. Important. You will get one question, sir. You will get one question. So let's go and talk about AWS storage. It is very important, sir. Okay, storage. What is storage? What is storage, sir? What is storage? I can store the data. C drive, D drive is the storage. When I'm trying to create a server in AWS, even I need the storage, right? Right? So keep it in your mind. Anything which you are attaching to operating system, anything which you are attaching to operating system, anything which is you need files, anything, right? That is called as storage. You have one type of a file that is called as, okay, what is that? What do you call it as? File system. Please write it down. Write it, very important. File system. Sir, file system. What is the meaning of a file system? Where you are going to store some operating system files or anything, you need storage. So you in AWS storage, this word storage is, they don't call it as a storage. They call it as, write it down. What is that? What is that? They call it as volumes. Storage is called as volumes. Okay. Storage is called as volumes. Okay. There are two types of volumes which are supported in AWS EC2 instance. Okay. There are two types of volumes. Write it down. Okay. There are two types of volumes in AWS EC2 instance. I can attach it. What is that? Instance store volume and EBS volume. What is the full form of EBS? Elastic block storage. Write it down. Elastic block storage. EBS is very, very important. 99% of the world will use EBS. 1% of the people will use instance store. Now, why? We will talk about it. When you talk about a volumes, instance store and EBS, elastic bean stack. Sorry, elastic block storage. Elastic block storage. Elastic block storage. Sir, what is the meaning of this elastic block storage and instance store? Let's go for it. Very similar. Let's go and understand what is the meaning of instance type storage. When you talk about instance type storage, what is the meaning of instance type storage? Very simple, sir. Instance type storage is actually, it is a free of cost volume and it is very fast. Okay, that are the two things. Okay, a volume you are getting for free, not 1 rupee cost, and it is very fast. Will anyone will leave it? No, right? Why it is fast? Let us go for it. I don't know how many people know it. It is my responsibility to go and explain you in detail. What's the difference between a RAM and your C drive? What is the difference between your RAM and your C drive?
RAM is temporary.
RAM is RAM is temporary. Okay, very good. RAM data is temporary. See, as I mentioned you, right, my system is running. In my RAM, my programs are running. Whenever I shut down, what will happen to RAM? Completely erased. Yes or no? And again I start, again the data will basically. But you need to understand one more thing. RAM is at least 1,000 times faster than your normal storage, C drive, D drive. RAM, I don't know how many people know, RAM is very fast when you want to go for it. That is the reason anything which is programming, right? Any Chrome or anything, people keep it in RAM. Anything you want to store completely, then people store it in C drive, D drive. That is file system. So here also you have one volume type. What is that? Instant store volume. Sir, what is this instant store volume? It is free, very fast. But the problem here is it is ephemeral storage. What is an English word ephemeral? Ephemeral means, what is that? Temporary storage. So what is the meaning of temporary storage? Whenever you shut down the server, right, data is lost. Okay, so what is the meaning of ephemeral storage? Okay, where basically, so whenever you shut down, or in AWS world, you call it as whenever you stop the EC2 instance, data is lost. Okay, someone is asking a question. What is that? Satish, instance type is it's not instance type, sir. It is instance storage. Instance type means CPU and RAM. Every case, so you are going and selecting, okay, volume, C drive, D drive. If you select instance type storage, it is going to be very fast. Okay, it's free, fast, ephemeral storage. What is the meaning of ephemeral storage? Ephemeral storage, it is a temporary storage. So what is meant by temporary storage? Whenever you shut down the server, data is lost. So I'll tell you, What is, can now tell me, now use your mind and tell me what is the difference between and RAM and ephemeral storage. What is the difference between RAM and ephemeral storage? No, not same. See that and tell me. Eh? No? Here RAM is for CPU and processor. RAM is temporary, someone said. This one is also temporary. But what's the difference? See the diagram, I've already written it, sir. What is the difference between a RAM and ephemeral storage? Pretty straightforward. Use your mind and tell me what will happen to the RAM, what will happen to the ephemeral. Think and tell me the answer. Okay, what is meant by a RAM? I have my system RAM. Whenever I shut down the system, what will happen? Data is lost. Whenever I restart my system, what will happen? Data is lost. When my system is running, when I restart, what will happen? RAM data will be erased. But here, ephemeral storage, only data is lost when you shut down, not restart. Write it down. Very, very important. Ephemeral storage, data is lost when you shut down the system, not when you reboot. When you reboot the system, data is present. Got it, sir? Very important. So this may be an interview question. It's a legacy system, but as an example, it may be a very, very important to understand. Like, sir, when I restart the system, data is lost. No, when you restart the system, data is not lost. Data is present. But when you stop the server, stop, hard stop, EC2 instance, I stop, means shut down, then the data is completely lost. Got it, sir? Anyone has any questions? Got it? Please let me know if you have any questions. So ephemeral storage is very good, sir. What is the reason people don't prefer ephemeral storage? Because it is, what is that? It's a temporary one. It's a temporary one where, sir, why do I want temporary? I don't want temporary. So where do you select? By default. So let's talk about by default. So when I'm launching one EC2 instance, when I am launching my EC2 instance, okay, let's take an example. When I am launching my EC2 instance, so if you go and click on it, right, lot of instance will come. Actually, these idiots have changed lot of things in terms of what do you call it as ephemeral storage, but let's go for it. See here, what is this one? What is this server? T2.small. T2.small is what is the RAM? CPU cores 1. What is the RAM? 1, right? That is fine. But you go, sir. So where is my where should I go and check it out? So if you clearly go and specify, if you go into, see, if you go and select this series, if you go and select this series, if you go and select this server, okay, they are providing, if you select this instance type is equal to C3.2x large, or these three things, all these things, all C series, automatically you get a temporary storage of how much? So for your example, if I want to go for, what is this one? If I want any ephemeral storage or anything I want, so if you see, if you select this one, you are going to get a storage of 32 GB. Is it clear, right? So if you see, you get 32 GB, 32 GB of storage of ephemeral storage, you will get it. Okay, ephemeral storage. So AWS, so when in 2010 2009 AWS started, right, you had a different UI. People can select, I want EBS volume, or people can select instance volume, instance store. He's not a great in AWS, but he's a very good developer. He got one idea. If I do this one, I can solve the problem very quickly. He developed this application. He went into AWS, click next, and launch one SaaS systems. deployed application, working the production environment, everything is working. Suddenly one day he wants to change the RAM from 8 GB to 16 GB. He shut down the system, change the RAM and start the system. What will happen when I shut down the system? Data is lost. He will be shocked. Where is my data? Data is locked. He will raise the ticket to Amazon. My data is lost. Amazon will come up and see which data I have selected by mistake. Ephemeral storage I selected. So AWS started asking why you selected ephemeral storage. Ephemeral storage is temporary. Then customer said, why did you keep there? Are you able to understand, right? Customer said, why did you provide it there? You provided there, that is the reason by mistake I selected. If you have not selected, I would have, my data is present. So AWS in 2012 removed an option called as instance store. Where did they add it? They added here in the instance type. You will get ephemeral temporary storage based on the family you selected. You go and click on it right now. So you will see you are getting C. So what is that one? You will get, what is the family? C3 dot large. When you go and click on it, you will get ephemeral storage. How do I go and know it? Let's talk about, we are talking about storage, right? So if you see here, okay, advanced, well, let's go and click on advanced. Okay, so you have an option now. See, see, what is this one? Let's, you go and click on it. See, 32 GB I selected, right? I got it instance type I selected and it automatically applied. What is this one? What is the storage right now? Ephemeral storage. Temporary I get it. Now I don't want any ephemeral storage. Then go and select your proper storage. Like this is, if you see here, right, what did I selected here? C3 dot, what is C3? C3 family is about, what is that one? You get 32 GB of ephemeral storage and you click on, that is what it is showing you here. If you go back here, it is what, this is what it is showing you. You go and click on show and you get how much ephemeral storage? 16 and another one 16 GB. Is it clear, right? You get
Yeah,
ephemeral storage,
in
you
the
can select
table,
it here.
yeah, in the
Yeah.
table whichever you are showing, it is
Hmm.
storage type is showing as SSD. What does that mean? SSD?
We'll talk about it, sir. Just give me 15 minutes of time. Today you'll get everything. Okay. So good. So understood what is meant by ephemeral, right? Ephemeral is temporary storage. Whenever you shut down the data, data is lost completely. So it is free of cost. It is very, very fast. Now customer will come up and say, I don't want anything which is temporary. I need permanent. So then another volume will come. What is that? EBS. Write it down. EBS. What's the full form of EBS? So EBS. What is the full form of EBS? Elastic block storage. EBS, elastic block. Sir, what are the properties of elastic? Exactly ulta. It is temporary or permanent? Permanent data. Okay, you can take a backup of this data in the form of snapshot. Whereas ephemeral storage, you can't take a backup, sir. Okay, it is okay. You have a concept called as, write it down, I'll explain you. IOPS, input output process per second. More IOPS, okay, then what is that? More speed. Okay, it is a permanent data. Okay, you can take a backups. You have a concept called as IOPS. You can increase the data. You all those kind of elastic kind of capability, you get it. Very good. 95% or 99% of the world in AWS world will use, what is that? EBS volume only, because they want permanent, right? You can select it. By default also AWS will select, what is that? By default also AWS will select, what is that? EBS only. So you get it very simple, sir. You go back here and I want, sir, I need a volume. When you click on add volumes, right? That is what you will get it. What is this one? What is this volumes? It's all about, what is that? What is this? 8 GB EBS volume. 8 GB EBS volume. You get this one. Volume type is, what is that? EBS. What are the types of storage type you have it? There are two types of storages you have it. What is that? Instance store volumes are physical attached to the host. These volumes are, what is the, is it clear, right? Temporary. Okay, so the instance store volume is lost. Okay, if you're, what is that, if you stop the system or terminate, the data in the instance store is lost. Whereas you have another volume. What is another volume? EBS volume. What is EBS volume, sir? EBS volume are, write it down, please write it down, important. EBS volumes are block level storage that persists independently from life of your EC2 instance, so that when you stop the server and restart the server, the data, you don't lose any data, as I mentioned you, but you will get a bill. It's not free. Got it, sir? Anyone has any questions? I would like to explain you a little bit more details about what is this EBS volumes. Exactly, we are currently working on one big issue in Microsoft, VFP issue, which is exactly related to this one. There may be so I'll tell you, let's talk about it and what will happen and what is the fix I'm working on it, but let's understand how the cloud is working in the background. Sir, you created one server, right? In your home, you have your laptop. Okay, so most of the people think like this one, sir. Sir, what is meant by a server? Your laptop or a server, normally your server is there. Here you have, what is that? Operating system. Basically, you have specified hardware, you have CPU cores, you have RAM, and definitely I have, what is that? What is this? Storage, right? Yes or no? It is not like this one in cloud. It's not in cloud like that. What is this cloud? So it will be like this one. You have big one box. In this box, you have only, what is that? This is called as compute box or compute server. What is the meaning of compute server? What did you selected? T1 dot small. T1 dot small is present here. T1 dot small, this one has how much GB of RAM? 2 GB of RAM. Now, how much you selected EBS volume? 50 GB. You have another box. Okay, people can call it as, what is that? What is that? Sandbox. What is sandbox? Storage box. It's a separate server, not like your computer in one laptop, storage is there and everything. Sandbox. Let's go into that one. I am investing more time, sir, so that you get more knowledge. It's not required for me. Sandbox. Is it clear, sir? It will be like this one in the background. Okay, and please write it down. Please write it down. Homework. SAN versus NAS, NAS. Study about that. Both are likely important. Please write it down. SAN versus NAS. What is that? That's a homework. Go and learn it. I'll explain you what is SAN, but you need to go for what is NAS. So you have boxes like this one. What basically you have, all these are storage boxes, yes or no? So you have a big boxes for compute and you have big boxes for, what is that? Storage. And you also have one box where, what is that? What is that? NIC is separately present. So when you go and provide, what do you go and specify? I need 2 GB of RAM. So AWS will allocate this one. Now you will come up and say 2 GB RAM, 50 GB storage. So this is 50 GB. And you need a NIC card, right? When you create an EC2 instance, it's connected like this. Is it clear? That is the reason you get elasticity. That means tomorrow you come up and say, no, sir, I don't require 2 GB. I need 4 GB. What do? You shut down the system. This connectivity will go off. This connectivity will go off. And you need 8 GB system. Now 8 GB is present here and now it gets connected here. Is it clear, right? It is changeable because it is not storing in one system. It is divided. Everything is divided, as an example. Okay. And what is the problem? I'm working right now in Microsoft VFP. What is that VFP problem? There is sometimes there may be problem in this cable. There may be some problem between storage box and my compute box. Their connectivity will happen. So there is a monitor which will go and check it out. Every second it will do a ping, and it find out this server and this server are not able to communicate for 180 minutes. It will go and provide VFP issue. We got last year last month 19,000 incidents got created on this problem, and we want to do optimize this one. We are working on it. Is it clear, right? So your systems are like this one. Sandbox, NAS box are separate. NIC cards and all these things are separate. Computing servers, RAM and CPU are completely separate. Is it clear, right? Any questions anyone has? So this is what you get it. So this is what basically what is that you want right now. I need more volumes. So you come up and say, sir, I need 1 EBS volume, not 8 GB. I want to go for 800 GB. You are the owner. What is the storage you want? Is it clear, right? You can select your system. Please write it down. When you talk about, hope you understood. Anyone has any questions, please ask me. What is this volume we are talking about? EBS is divided into 7 types again. What are the 7 types? Let's write it down. Write it down. EBS is divided into general purpose GP3, GP2, provision IOPS SSD 1, provision IOPS SSD 2, cold HSD, throughput IOPS magnetic. All these things, write it down. Okay, so general purpose GP3, GP2, provision IOPS like this one. So what is an English word called as general purpose? What is an English word called as general purpose? General purpose. I want to launch a server. Why? Generally, I want to launch it to test or anything. Anything, if you want to generally launch it, right? AWS recommendation is select either 1 or 2. Any of those things you need to select. Then immediately you will come up and say which one I have to select, GP2 or GP3. GP2, please write it down. General purpose. And someone has asked what is SSD. I'll go very detailed. I'm very good at storage. I'll go very detailed, but let's talk about, sir, what is this GP2? GP2, so let's talk about general purpose GP2. GP2, so what is the meaning of general purpose? Sir, always remember, what did I specify? What is the meaning of this one? What is the meaning of this one? IOPS, input output processing per second. I have a disk. I'm having a disk. I'm having a disk with 50 IOPS. Means if you provide, what is the meaning of IOPS? IOPS, input output processing per second. So my drive is, what is the speed? Example, 50 IOPS. Means if you provide me 50 inputs, I can process them in 1 second and provide you output. That is called as 50 IOPS. If my volume is 10,000 IOPS, means what? Means what? If you provide me 10,000 input, I can process them in 1 second and give it to you. So more IOPS, more speed and more cost. Is it clear, right? This IOPS concept, I don't know if anyone is too deep serious people. This IOPS concept is very similar to, have you heard about, okay, RAID 1, RAID 2, RAID 3, RAIDs in the olden days. They changed all these things and made it simplifies. RAID 1, RADI, RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 2 for, okay, replication and all those things. Now they're not calling IOPS. More IOPS, more speed, more cost. Now, what is this general purpose? If you select general purpose, when you select the volume, how many IOPS you get it, that is based on the formula. So the formula is, what is the size you selected? Write it down. General purpose, by default, you get in general purpose GP2 minimum how many IOPS by default? What is that? How many? You get 100 IOPS. Minimum how many IOPS? 100 IOPS you get it. But actually it is having a formula. The formula is, let's go and write it down. What is the formula? How much is the size you selected into 3, you get it. For your example, I'll tell you. Now just use your mind and answer it. I'm selecting 30 GB. How many IOPS I'll get it? I selected 30 GB. How many IOPS I'll get it?
90.
Very
90.
good. 100. 100, sir. Minimum is 100. So if I select 20, how much I get it?
100.
Okay. If I select 40, if I select 40,
120.
120. Minimum is what is that, sir? 100. But what is the formula? GP2 goes and says 40 into 3. Is it greater than 100? So you will get 120. What will happen if I select, I need one volume, one C drive, which is 500 GB. So how many IOPS I'll get? 500 into 3. How much? Is it clear? Formula based. Let us go and show you. So if I go back and see, I am selecting, let us go. I will select, what is that? What is this? GP2. When you go and select GP2, see how much I have selected size? 800. How many IOPS I got? What is the formula? Size into 3. Sir, why are you going and providing 800, sir? He will come up and say, I need only 50 GB. So how much I'll get it? If I go and select 50?
150.
No, 150. I'll go and click on 50. I will get, what is that? 150. No, sir, I need 200 GB. So how much I'll get it? How much? 600. Sir, I need only 20 GB, sir. How much I'll get? 100. Good. Now you see 100. Is it clear, right? Formula based. Always keep it in your more IOPS, more
Sir,
faster.
what is the meaning
More
of
cost.
100 per 3000? Per 3000, what is that meaning?
No,
That is
we'll
not.
talk about this one. There is a limitation in the size for normal instance type. You selected instance type T2 dot small, T2 dot large, right? You have a limitation in size actually. So it will only support how much, man? It will only support 1000 GB for your smaller system. But when you go for a bigger system, now it can go up to very high. Okay, it can go up to high. So general purpose, what is the type of GP2? GP2 is general purpose. How many IOPS you get it based on your size? It's a formula. Very simple. Normal person, it's clearly AWS is saying use it for general purpose. Sir, I will use for production. It is, you are the owner, sir. You want to use it for production, or no one cares. But what will happen? So when my application is very real time, very important server, then what do you happen when you go and select general purpose? Give me 5 minutes of time. This is there, general purpose, you want to go for it. Now another, like she will come up and say, I don't want formula, I need a general purpose storage, I don't want formula. It's my wish. Give me an option where I need 50 GB, I want 5000 IOPS. Give me 50 GB, I need 400 IOPS. I'll select it. Then you will select, what is that? What is that? GP2. No formula. You are the owner. You go and select it. What is the IOPS? 20. How many I want? Sir, I want 600 IOPS, sir. You can select it. But both are related to general purpose only. Generally, AWS is recommending don't use this one for production. It is only AWS recommendation. Now you come up and say, who are you to tell production? I will use it. Use it. Not a problem. Our production servers till 2016-17 were in general purpose only. All my production servers of Infer company previously. Is it clear, right? But then we changed it. But it is clearly, it is only a recommendation. It is only a guideline. Amazon is saying, I use this one for general purpose only. Is it clear? In GP3, what do you get in GP3? No formula. Whatever size and how many IOPS you want to go for it, you can go for it. Let us go and click on little bit about this one. Okay, sir, what is this GP2 is used for? GP2 volume is offers cost effective storage that is ideally for broad range of workloads, normally any kind of a thing. Then GP2 and GP3 generally they are using for what is that? What is that? Workloads. What is that? Cost, keeping costing into mind. What is provision? Please write it down. Let us go for what is that. So let's go for what is this one. I'll also show you the properties. What is provision? Now provision IOPS is nothing but Amazon is coming and asking you want to do anything which is very fast and production. Array sir, you want your volume to be super fast. Excellent. Very fast. Not normal fast. not normally. I need here IOPS not 1000, 1 lakh, 70,000 IOPS, 80,000. Sir, you get a bill of very high. Are my business requirement is NASA company uses these servers. NASA company will go and provide IOPS is equal to some 64,000 IOPS. They will go and select it. Why? What is the reason, sir? What do I require? More IOPS, more speed. Why do they require speed? Why do you go for it? Can anyone tell me one NASA example? Why do they require speed? No, very simple. I'll tell you. NASA, I don't know how many people. Anyone knows what is meant by James Webb telescope? James Webb telescope. No, James Webb telescope is present. It basically takes the photo. They will go and check it out. There is a dark spot there. Let's go and take a photo. It will take a photo. And if you take a photo as an example, you will, in that photo, you will get nearly in one photo, you will get around 13,000 or 14,000 dots like a stars. Now in that photo, I want to calculate how many are stars, how many are galaxies. How do I do? You can't do manually. Open it. Arey, come here, man. Let's. This is a star or a galaxy. They don't do it. They do. What is that? Artificial intelligence in the background. And you need high computing systems to go evaluate and all those things. They need computing very, very powerful. They use high level of IOPS. Is it clear, right? So they go for it. You have all this interesting field. You go for the real-time problems, then you will understand.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me, how many stars are there? How many galaxies are there? And this picture is, I think that picture size would be 10 GB. Think about one picture, 10 GB. So how much big resolution it will be? How do you calculate in this one? Is it a star or is it a galaxy or it is a blue dot or it is a black hole? How do you know? So those kind of calculations, you need that high level of computing capabilities. That is the reason you go and select. What is that, sir? I will select. What is that? Provision IOPS. What is the difference between provision IOPS 01 and 02? With 02, you can go up to very, 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 very high level of IOPS. Sir, how do you get this information? So where do you use? So let's go for it. See, this is an SLA. When you go for, in generally, volume type is GP3 or GP2. Durability of the volume is 99.8 to 99.9%. They are providing AWS promising. And when you go for, what is that? IO2, basically IO1, what is the percentage increasing? 99.9999% durable rate, speed rate. Now if you go for use cases, generally GP2, GP3, where are you using? You're using for normally, what is that? Desktop, medium size instances, low latency. But when you go for this one, when do you want this provision IOPS kind of a thing? When you need, what is that? Sub millisecond latency, sustainable, more than 60,000 IOPS or 1 Mbps per second internet. I need all these things. Very, very, very powerful. If you want to go for it, you go for provision. Here also you don't have any, but you can go up to 64,000, 2 lakhs, 1 lakh, or basically whatever the limit, you can go up to those much IOPS. Very, 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 very high IOPS when you go for, what is that? Provision IOPS. Is it clear, guys? Provision is generally AWS recommend go for this one for your production environment. This is for your test environment. Sir, I want normal. So I want one storage which is very, very, very slow. Anyone in the world will come up and say, I need my storage to be faster. But someone will come up and say, I want my system to be normal, sir. Okay. But why they will come up and say, because I will store the data there, I will not access there, and I want very cheaper cost. Slow is there, I'm okay. It's slow, sir. It's okay. Array, my business case, I will not access those files at all. Very rarely I'll use it. Then AWS will recommend you to go for, what is that? These two things. What is that? Write it down. Cold HSD. Now you will get an idea what is SSD, what is HDD. Give me 2 minutes of time, I'll explain you. Write it down. There are cold HDD and throughput HDD. These two things, they store the data in hard disk. It is slow. What is the meaning in technical word, in technical IT world? What is the meaning of cold and what is the meaning of hot? Okay, senior people, boss, online people,
Right.
participate, sir. What is the meaning of cold and hot?
Cold storage is something they will take complete backup.
Nah, no, no, that's not correct word. I know where you are coming from. I think I got it. What is a simple word? What is the meaning of cold? What is the meaning of hot? Cold means inactive data. Hot means very, 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 very hot active data. Is it clear, right? Now, what is meant by cold HDT? I will keep one data. I will not at all access that data. Let it be slow. Then you will use what is that? Cold HDT and throughput optimized SSD. You will select it where your data, where you want to retrieve is slower. Not a problem, sir. I don't have any problem. I want slower only. I can select it. So those things are there. Slower kind of a thing. What is this? Cold HDT volumes provide what is that? Very low cost magnetic storage that offer low throughput, then very slow. It is good for large SQL. What is that? Cold data means what? Inactive data workload equally requires what is that? Infrequent access to data. I will not at all access, very rarely I'll access. Very, very old photos, old data. I'll never access it. Then it is better to go and keep it in throughput. And write it down another thing. What is that? Okay, magnetic storage. So you have magnetic storage. What is this magnetic? You can select the here also. What is the meaning of magnetic? You go and select it and you have last called as what is that? Magnetic. What is the meaning of magnetic? Same thing. Volume that are best suited for same thing. Data accessed infrequently or not accessed frequently. Very frequently. 1 and 2. These three things are used for what is that? Inactive data. Provision is for very, 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 very active data, and you have general purpose for more normal data. Is it clear, right? Now, sir, what is meant by this solid state drive? Write it down. SSD versus HDD. And so let's talk about it. This is the difference between HDD and SSD. Solid state drive. So solid state drive SSDs are very, 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 very faster. I think most of the people have seen this HDD. Have you seen this one? Maybe if you open your laptop, if you open your server or anything, you will this one. What is this one? This is a storage, sir. And what is the biggest disadvantage? Why this HDD is considered slower? Why, sir? I know a lot of people will come up and specify this is faster, this is faster, this is slow. Why? Why it is like? When I start asking why, no one answered it. It's pretty simple, sir. Huh? So what? So chip means something dangerous, huh? Want something faster, huh? Nothing, sir. Nothing like this one. Sir, why it is slower? Your data, movies, data is stored in where? This disk. And only one needle is reading it. This disk will rotate. And if you want to see any movie, you double click on a movie, right? So the instruction will come to this needle and this needle will read the movie. But what will happen if you want to see 8 movies at a time? You double click on 8 movies. What will happen? How many needles are there? One needle is there. How many it can read? Then your system becomes slower because it cannot handle what to read. One person is there, you give 8 tasks. What he will do? He can't do it, right? Same thing happens in what is that? HTTP. What is happening on SSD? SSD solid state drive. What is the meaning of there? Your data is stored in a chip. So what? It's chip, it is faster? No. Now your data, now you want to pull the data and process the data, right? You can connect to the external devices which are faster. Is it clear, right? Externally, you can go and attach to one very, very powerful hardware where it can pull the data, process the data, and do something kind of things. SSDs are always very, 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 very fast. Okay. Okay. So we have a research paper in Microsoft also. So I also participated in 2017-18. So I know about this one. So HDD, SSD, and you have something called as Ultra SSD, which came into picture. At the end of the day, Microsoft is also participating. What is the life of this one? How many years it can sustain? 7 to 8 years. This one, 4 to 10 years. Microsoft is working for one data where they can store the data for 2000 years. 2000 years. If everything goes well, 10,000 years. And the cost is 0. Tell me, what is that? Cloud. AWS, Microsoft is working on cloud. Microsoft is working on FreeSet. Microsoft also, not only Microsoft. There are some teams. What is that? They want to store full data. Like, I don't know how many people know about this one. You are taking a camera and you're taking a camera, right? 10 years of camera of data can be stored in your cell, in your DNA. Okay. So you can store, people are working, Microsoft is working, doing a research on laser internet, and then they're working on, okay, cell, your DNA. Okay, I don't know how many people know about this one. It's a very interesting subject. Your DNA, especially not in women, only in men. Who is having Y chromosome? Men is having Y chromosome. Y chromosome, what is it has? Who is my father? My father has a chromosome, one GUID, ID will be there. That ID will be attached to my chromosome, Y chromosome. And Y chromosome has, I think, 60,000 generation IDs. So with that information, people are able to identify genetically the native Australian people, the native Australian, not white people now. The native Australian people are like Indians only, face. Their ancestors and people of Tamil Nadu ancestors are same. So the people from Africa, the what is that? What do you call it as? The hunters slowly moved into from Africa. They started moving from Europe. They went into India. They settled in Tamil Nadu. Lot of people. Some people from Tamil Nadu moved into, okay, Singapore. From Singapore they moved it into Australia. There is a settlement. Now these two gaps are, what is that? We were able to identify these two gaps with genetic data. You get a very good YouTube video, go and check it out. You will understand what is an importance of a Y chromosome and how much data, man. 60,000 generation means how much data? So people are want to store the data in our cell, and your DNA resides 1 lakh years, 60,000 years. Based on the condition, it will reside. Is it clear, right? People are working on it. Try to understand the concept of storage. Very, very important. Don't go and study about storage, means SSD storage, HDD, box storage. You don't understand those things. Take some real-time samples. Go and talk about real-time samples. Go and do some research. Like for your example, I get excited only those things. I don't go and butty. Like let's take an example, DNA storage, and let's go for it. Not only Microsoft, sir. Not only Microsoft. There's a big team which is working on it. Okay, see. It's a not normal, sir. It's a very, very big project, and they're doing a lot of investment and everything. It may not successful. It may not be successful, but the way at which basically, if it gets successful, right, the way of storage in the world will get changed. Is it clear, right? So very, very, very important. Hope you understood about the storage. What is meant by EBS and how many storage I want. Sir, I don't want one volume. I need C drive. I need D drive. I need F drive. You want to go for it? Go and create it, sir. Who is stopping? Go and create it. You will get more volumes, more cost. But AWS, your options of selecting all these things are there. Is it clear, guys? Any questions anyone asks? Is it clear? What is meant by instant store volume? What is meant by EBS volume? EBS is divided into 7 types. What is that? GP2, GP3, IO01, IO03, magnetic, cold SSD, and throughput optimized SSD. Why they are providing? I need inactive data, keep it in HDD, active data in solid state drive. Very simple. More solid state drive, you will get more IOPS, more faster. Is it clear? There are a lot of things, KMS, encryption, I will not talk about right now. All these things I'll talk about when time comes. Clear, guys? Anyone has any questions? Clear? I am done with the storage. You should get one AWS certification question on this storage. Got it? Fine. Important, sir. Now the question comes into picture. Sir, what did I said, sir? I am able to select my OS. So if you see, what are the things I completed? I am able to select my OS with the help of what is that? I need a RAM and a CPU core. I'm selecting with instance type. I need a network. What did I select at? VPC, public subnet, private subnet, anything. Any code should be executed in bootstrap data. I have what is that? User data as an example. Yes or no? I need a storage. So what is there in the storage right now? EBS. Now the only one which is present is what is that? Security. Is it clear? So let's write it down. Go for security, write it down, security group. Very important. Time is there. I think I should complete today or tomorrow it should be completed. And tomorrow, don't miss tomorrow's class. Tomorrow we are going to create a practical server. I'm done. I selected everything. I need to go and click on create button. That's it. One server gets created, one shot. Don't miss tomorrow's class. Tomorrow is what is that, sir? Friday, right? Okay. Please don't miss the class. Security group, write it down. So what is security group? What did I said about security group? What did I say?
Firewall for network.
The firewall
Yes, sir.
at
Very good, sir. Security group is protection layer for a server level. NACL is a protection layer for your subnet level. That is the reason. What is server in AWS? EC2. Who's protecting EC2? Security group. Write it down. Security group is a firewall, or in the bracket write it down. Okay. Security group is a firewall for your EC2 level. Right? By default, write it down. The second point, by default, denies everyone. So it will not allow anyone to connect. By default, it's exactly like your security guard in your home. You have a villa, and front of that one you have a security guard. Anyone comes, he'll allow. Sir, please come in. They will say only the people he knows it, he will allow it. Otherwise, no one in the world he will allow it. Right? Same thing. By default, will deny every request. It will not allow any request by default. Third point, it is stateful. It is stateful. Write it down. I think I already provided this point, but let's talk about it is stateful. Okay, so now let's go and understand what is meant by security group. Very simple, sir. Very neatly I'll explain you. Anyone has any questions, please ask it, but please ask it. Very important, sir. Very important. Sir, nothing, sir. This is your, what is that? What is this? And now an interview question, and I'll get angry now if you don't answer it. Where is this security group present? Where is this security group present? Security group is here, right? Yes or no? Means where? Means where?
Private subnet.
No. Sir, please go through your book, sir. I told you I'll get angry. Yesterday only I told you I'll get angry if you don't answer it. I told you. Where is this security group reside? Where?
in subnet.
No, absolutely wrong. Subnet, you will have servers. Huh? Where, sir? Please go through. Okay, sir, please go through what is meant by elastic network interface. What did I say about elastic network interface? What are the things which are present elastic network interface? In elastic network interface, your Ethernet card, NIC card. Inside a NIC card, what are the things are stored? 7 or 8 properties I told you. One of the thing is what? Security group. So as I mentioned you, everything which is coming inside your system is coming through NIC card, and there is the security group resides. It is like any request is coming, right? NIC card is there. From NIC card only it will process and it will come to your system. There is security group and said like, hey, you are not allowed. Hey, you are allowed. So security group resides. The fourth point, write it down. Security group resides in ENI, elastic network interface. Very important, sir. Clear, sir? Sir, what is this security group? Very simple, sir. Very simple. This is one server and you installed one SAP application. Let's take an example. SAP application you created, easy to install SAP application. You assigned one public IP address 19.1.2.3. What is the IP address of this one? 19.1.2.3. Khalid. Now Khalid is present in Hyderabad. Khalid is having his own laptop. Khalid want to access this application. Khalid will type http://19.1.2.3. So what happened? The request will travel through internet and Khalid will have his own, what is that? Internet service provider 21.1.1.1. The request will go and the security group will stop and say, hey man, who are you? So Khalid, the request will come up and say, I want to reach to 19.1.2.3 and I am who I am 21.1.1.1. Will the security group will allow it or not allow? Not allow, because nothing is mentioned what is allowed. Simply like you are present in my home, I have a security guard in front of him. Basically Khalid will come up and say, I want to meet Kumar. Security will say, I don't know who is Khalid. I will not allow you. Is it clear, right? Same thing, very straightforward. Same thing, you have not mentioned who is allowed in the security group. Security group by default, what it will do? Deny everyone. Not a single request will not come into picture. So what should I do it? Sir, what is this direction, sir? What is this direction? Is it incoming or going out?
Incoming.
Incoming. So you need to write it in security group. Please write it down. That is called as incoming request is called as what? What is that? Or wait a minute, sir. So where should I go and specify whether it should allowed or not? There is something called as inbound. People as another name also, technical word. In this incoming rules, you will present that who should be allowed. Who is this one? 21.1.1.1. if is coming, what should I do? If you mention like this one, now Khalid can connect to this system. This is incoming, right? Security group coming, sir, hey, this guy is coming inside. In the, it will go and check what is that rules. What is that? It will check ingress rule. It will go and check it out, ingress or inbound rule, and it find array 21.1.1. is allowed. Please come in. So the request will go inside. Is it clear, right? Then it is only 21.1.1.1 is allowed. You have mentioned only this guy is allowed. Everything is by default deny. Is it clear? No, sir. I want to allow Kelly Technologies. All the people who are coming from Kelly Technologies as one gateway or a bunch of gates. What should I do? Now you can also not one system, you can go and provide multiple. Like you can also mention anyone is coming from 10.4.1.0 by the total series. What is the meaning of 24? What is the meaning of 24? Subnet 32 minus 24, 2 to the power of 8, 256 server which are starting with 10.4.1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 till 2 to 255. Anyone is coming, what it will do? Allow. Sir, I want everyone in the world should come into picture with port number 80. Anyone in the world. Then you will mention 0.0.0.0 by 0 coming with what is that? Port number 80, allow it. What is the meaning of this one? As I mentioned you, anyone, everyone. Is it clear, right? You are the owner. What do you want to write it down? You will write it down. Google.com is there. Google.com, what will be the rule of Google.com in security group? Everyone should allow with port number 80 and 443. That is the reason you people are accessing www.google.com. It is allowing, right? The port, that this is the rule. Is it clear, right? Either I have to allow anyone, certain group, or only one. You are going to write it in what is that? Inbound rules. Is it clear, guys? Anyone has any questions? I am not yet done. I need more 25 minutes to go and complete security group and 25 minutes to go and create it. And the next second, I'll go and create a server in front of you. Tomorrow is the time. Tomorrow, full practical. Don't miss tomorrow's class. Anyone has any questions? Is it clear? I'm not yet done. I am not yet done. I need to go for next 25 minutes on what is security group. There are 4 types of security groups are there, but I explained you what is a baseline, what is security group. Okay, write it down. Maybe if we have 2 more minutes, we can go for it. So this is your security group. Anyone is coming in this direction, we call it as, what is this one, sir?
Both.
Okay, there is a server, and inside this server there is a Google Chrome, and in the Google Chrome I am typing, what is that inside the server? What is that I am typing? Google.com. Google.com, what is that? From this EC2 instance, it has to go to where? It has to go to where?
Google.
So what is the direction?
Outbound.
Is it clear, right? I don't want Google to come. Here in the security group, you can mention outbound rules, inbound rules. You can write it down. By default, so by default, ingress rule, anyone in the world by default, what is that? It will do. What is that? Deny. Outbound by default, what it will do? Outbound. Is it clear? Outbound, anything. So you're coming here, sir. When you're coming, there is a checkpoint. Hey, give me your card, show me and everything. When you're going, is there any checkpoint? There is the same thing. You are going outside. Security group by default says, what is that? Anything in the world you can go outside, but anything inside coming, it has to go for filter. So let's go for tomorrow. Next, what is that? What is security group? Completely, what are the 4 types of security groups? Tomorrow, let us go and drive it. Is it clear, sir? Important class today is an important class because you need to know about a storage. There are 6 types of AWS services which are related to storage: EBS, EFS, S3, Snowball, basically. Then you have something called as Fargate. We have a lot of things. We'll talk about all those kind of things, but hope you got an idea. How do you go and create one EC2 instance? Tomorrow is a time practical to go and create it. Clear, guys? Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you. Let's see you tomorrow. Thank you.